Today I'm going to try to show you how to butterfly fillet this walleye here. Nice quality walleye. The first step, if you're going to fillet something skin on, is to scale it. To scale it, you take a scaler and you start working it against the grain of the scales. So I'm going to start swiping it that way, but with more force. Alright, this side's pretty much done. You flip it over. Make sure you get the top there. And then do the other side. Make sure you get the belly. This whole belly is going to be part of the fillet. You're going to get all the belly meat. Basically going to cut the fillet up so it's all one giant fillet in the end. One other trick you can do if you don't have a scaler is to take a serrated steak knife and scale it. It works pretty well. I already got basically all the scales off here, but you can see the ones that I didn't get are coming off even better with the steak knife. It'll take some of that slime off too. Make sure I got the top good here. I don't think it quite dug in enough on the top here. Yeah. Here we got a bit of some scale still. I just missed some along the top. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Double check this. Yeah, it's always harder to get the scales off like right near the fins here. It takes a few passes. But if you keep scraping it, they'll come off. Alright, that's a pretty good job there. She's pretty much scaled now. Now I'm gonna fillet her, the butterfly style. First thing I do is I try to clamp her in. She's a little big. She's over 6 pounds, so she's a decent walleye. Get my fillet knife out. Get rid of these scalers. That's all done. Now I can fillet her with the skin on. First thing I do is I make an incision, just like a normal fillet, pretty much. I have another video where I fillet walleye. And I'm going to do the same thing for a little bit here, pretty much. The same method, and eventually I'm going to start doing something a little different. But I make an incision right behind the gill plate here, angled at about a 45-degree back towards the head. Then I take the knife and I run it along the backbone here. I'm sticking the knife in about 3/4 of an inch on this walleye, so I don't stick it in too far, maybe an inch. I just run it along the backbone here. Normally I would push the knife all the way through here, but I want to keep this skin attached down here for the butterfly fillet. So I'm going to just continue to run it shallow here. And then I'm going to cut the piece right by the tail down a little bit. Normally I keep that on to take the skin off, but we're not taking the skin off, so I just leave it like that. Okay, next step is I flip the walleye like this. And then I start peeling back the meat here. I'm trying to do a nice job because I'm taking this fish to a dinner party, so I want it to look nice. That's why I'm doing it butterfly style. So you just peel back the meat and cut straight down until you meet resistance. That resistance is where the ribs start, right along the lateral line here. So you're going to cut down basically to here. And once the ribs start, you're going to have a row of pin bones that stick into the meat. You're going to start to angle your knife up just like that, ever so slightly, and cut around the ribs while cutting through the pin bones. So it's a little bit tricky and takes some practice, but once you do some, you'll get the hang of it. See, I just make swipes. You can hear the pin bones being cut there, but you don't want to cut through the ribs. This walleye's been in the fridge for a little bit. She's still fresh, but the meat's tearing just a tiny bit. That'll happen if you store them in the fridge for a little bit before you cut them up. Oops. Didn't go quite deep enough there. There we go. And you want to just take it along the ribs, down the side of the fish here. Until you meet the end of the ribs. But you don't want to cut through the bottom of the fillet here. You're going to leave that part whole. I'm just going to take it all the way down. So now we have a nice solid fillet, and it's still attached to the other fillet on the other side by this belly meat here. Now we're going to flip it. We're going to do the same exact thing all over again. First thing we do is we make an incision right behind the gill plate at about a 45-degree angle, going back, right behind these fins here. I started on the wrong side. And then we're gonna take her, cut her down like this. And then flip her back over here. She's a big fatty. A little bit hard to handle, but it's easier if you clip them in. She's just a little too big to clip in though. Then you can pull against the fish. See, I'm just going to make shallow swipes. Kind of hard filming this at the same time too. Got to point my head in an awkward way. Just make shallow swipes until you hit the lateral line area right here. Once you hit that lateral line, you're going to hit the ribs, and you're going to, instead of going straight down, you're going to want to curve up and go over. But you're also going to cut through the pin bones at the same time. You can hear the knife cutting through those pin bones, but it's not cutting through the ribs. You want to start aiming your knife back down after you go over the hump of the ribs, so you can catch that shallow upper belly meat. See how thin it is there? Don't want to lose that, especially on a butterfly fillet. And you just take it down. My knife's a little bit dull too. I should have sharpened it before I did this, but just take this fillet down. Now comes the tricky part. Connecting both fillets. So, first thing you want to do is connect them there by cutting through right across these front fins, like I just did. Then you want to pull it down a little bit. It's going to get stuck, is the unfortunate part. It's going to get stuck right around this anal fin here. So what I like to do is just take the knife and cut around a little circle around the anal fin, like this. If I could get it. It's so cold out. My hands are cold too. There we go. So I basically just cut all the way around this anal fin here. And now it should come off a little bit easier. It's going to be attached to the guts a little bit. And if you didn't cut the meat all the way down, it'll still be attached by the meat, but you just want to go like this. Cut just that little tag end of meat off like that, and we're pretty much done. We just cut her off here through the skin. I didn't quite cut the skin all the way down. There we go. Beautiful butterfly fillet. I'm going to take the cheeks off in a moment here, but I'm not quite done with this carcass, but I want to show you the butterfly fillet first. See, it's a nice, sizable fillet, all in one piece pretty much. I gotta wash off all the loose scales, but she's scaled too. That's how you do a one-piece fillet, where both sides are connected by the belly meat. I'll do a little bonus for you guys. I'll take the cheeks off right here. Take the cheeks off, you Stick the knife in at about a 45-degree angle. I start right here, pretty much right by the back end of the jaw. You want to stick the knife in into the middle. The cheeks are kind of shaped like a diamond going into the face, and you want to just run your knife around in a circle all the way around here, back to the eyeball, and then you want to flip your cheek up. Try to do this slowly here for you. Flip your cheek up just by peeling it. Pinch it right where it is at the eyeball. Here you'll hear a little snap from like a tendon or something ripping, a very small one. And then you want to just take it with your fingers and peel it off the skin like that. And there's a cheek. So we got one little steak there. Flip her over to the other side, we'll do the other cheek. Usually start right here. Kind of doing it backwards this time. That's a little awkward, but just make a circle at like a 40-degree angle or so, and you want to rip the cheek up. Once in a while you might need to cut something, but you know, rip the cheek up, pinch it, or cut it, and then you want to just peel her off here. And there's another nice solid cheek. And that's it. She's all done. Beautiful butterfly fillet. Might want to trim just a little bit of this membrane off here. That's good. There she is. Butterfly fillet and 2 cheeks.